Hello all, in this video I'll be talking about the school calendar 2024 which has been recently notified by the Department for Meghalaya schools. Let us first talk about the difference between a school calendar and an academic calendar. Now what we have notified is a school calendar, essentially giving you the start date, the end date, the holiday details about the Bagless days, about the parent teacher meeting, about the RTE requirements, etc. etc. It is essentially the main points of the whole academic year. So that is the school calendar. Now there is an academic calendar also, which DERT, which is the Directorate of Educational Research and Training, it comes up with the academic calendar, which is much more detailed, that every school day, what has to be the lesson plan, what has to be the teaching plan, etc. etc. So that is very detailed one, which can be downloaded from their website later on. But this video is all about the school calendar and the need of it. So let's talk about the need of it. So now what has been happening for so many years is that there has been no proper detailed school calendar in terms of the number of school days required, number of instructional hours required, and the basically the start date, the end date, the school timings, etc. etc. So there has been a lot of variations in the way schools operate, not just the government schools but the other types of schools. Now that is another topic which we have to deal with, the types of schools and the variations, but the gist of it is to bring some kind of uniformity, some kind of standard timings into that. There are various challenges into that, which I will talk about subsequently in this video, but that is the whole need to bring in a standardization, that everyone is aware of what are the working days, what are the timings, so that especially when our officials go for inspections and all, they are already aware of the timings. So this is very important, that we have a standard format. Anything which has to be achieved, there has to be a timeline to it, and that is why we have come up with this. And we have also received a lot of feedback, about which I'll talk about later. So that is the need of this academic calendar. So now let us go through this calendar and analyze the different components about this calendar. Now the first part of the academic calendar, which you are seeing on the screen right now, tells you about the start date. Now this year it's already all the schools have started as per the calendar, and now it also talks about the dates of half yearly, which is we have left it to the schools, of the final examinations and the end of academic session, which we have distinguished between the pre-primary and also for other kind of schools, and we have mentioned the next winter vacation dates as well. So this is just the starting portion. Here I just want to give a reference that we have given the freedom and the choice to all the schools to select their exam dates, although this kind of thing, the half yearly and the final term examination, this is kind of a summative assessment. So one of the things which the calendar also talks about subsequently is that the implementation of formative assessments, that we should rather assess our children. The assessment should be very frequent, like in the form of a unit test or weekly, so that the burden doesn't come on the final exam. So for this, one app is being tested right now. The pilot will be done and it will be rolled out to all the government schools to start with, and we'll see how that goes. But the idea is, and you can do this at your level, at your school level, at your teacher level, go for formative assessments like every weekly, so that the children learn, and also they don't have like the huge pressure of preparing for one single exam. So it is very much important that we start moving towards formative assessment. So this was the first part of the calendar. The second part of the calendar talks about the RTE requirements. Now if you see the Right of Children to Free and Compulsory Education Act, there are certain requirements that for LP, the lower primary level, which is from class 1 to class 5, there has to be certain number of working days, there have to be certain number of instructional hours. So this you can see it on the screen right now, and the same is also, the different figures are also there for the UP, which is class 6 to class 8. They have recommended some working days which have to be complied with. So remember, this is a act, and the compliance has to be there. It's very, very important that all the provisions of RTE are complied with. So for class 1 to class 8, essentially the RTE covers this range. They have given these number of school days have to be there, these number of instructional hours have to be there, and I recommend all the teachers belonging to this lower primary and upper primary to read this act, RTE Act. And there are other compliances also in terms of norms and standards of school, number of the hours which the teachers have to put in, etc., etc. Maybe I'll make a detailed video later if you want me to, but this is basically the RTE compliance which has to be done from the side of schools for these sections, for these grades, class 1 to class 8. So this is non-negotiable, and I encourage all the schools to think about it and make an approach. And that is how we have designed the calendar. So if you minus the holidays, then it comes out that we are complying with these kind of instructions. So all the schools from lower primary, upper primary, these instructional hours, these working day requirement has to be met at the end of the academic session. Now the third point is about school holidays. Now Meghalaya government releases a notification on the holidays which are to be observed, the state holidays, and then there are, of course, the details are there in that notification, so you must go by that. And apart from that, the winter vacation which will be there for the school, which we have already notified in this present calendar itself. So apart from that, no more holidays can be just announced or notified by the school themselves. You have to follow this. Again, we have to understand that basically we have to comply with those RTE number of school days. So keeping that in mind, these kind of arrangements has been done. And although the instructional hours and the working days, the school days are for class 1 to 8, which has been notified by under RTE. So the DERT, we have requested them to work out some instructional hours for secondary and higher secondary. And of course, as we go up the ladder, the requirement is more. So we will come up with some kind of notification. Maybe in the next academic calendar, we can also include the instructional hours and the school days for higher secondary and secondary as well. You can also leave your suggestions in the comment section. And of course, we have already started working on that along with the MBOS, along with the DERT and all other educational experts. But for the purpose of the holidays, essentially as notified in this present notification, that we'll follow the state government holidays which has already notified for 2024 plus winter vacation we have basically given in this present notification. Other than that, there won't be any holidays, because we have to ensure, first of all, the number of school days as mandated by RTE are there. Plus, we have to cover the syllabus. It's most important that the entire syllabus is covered. We are already having, because of various reasons in the state of Meghalaya, we have a challenge of the number of school days. Because of natural calamities, because of various, sometimes extreme temperature and weather conditions also make us to, close the schools for some time. So that is all taken together. This year we should try that we have the minimum number of school days and we are able to complete the syllabus. So that was point number 3 of the school calendar. So coming to point number 4, it's about school timings, and as you can see on the screen, we have given different kind of timings, and this is essentially we have given for the government schools, and it is an indicative timing which other schools can also follow. Now there are special cases. For example, Tura and Shillong, there is an issue of traffic, and in coordination with the SP traffic and district administration, they have some staggered timing. So that's fine. We have mentioned it in the notification itself. We understand that wherever due to traffic requirements to decongest, the staggered timings can be followed. And one of a very good feedback or observation which we have received on the calendar is that, of course, some of the schools have morning shift and evening shift as well, so they have to work out their timing. So all those is fine. This is essentially, apart from I think Shillong and Tura, other places not having any traffic issues and all that. For government schools, we have notified this, and it will be nice if other schools can also follow suit, and a kind of similar, it can be staggered if there are some compulsions which are there, like this morning, evening and all that. But more or less, if we can follow this timing, this will ensure. And if you see closely the hours which I've mentioned for LP, UP, that is basically to work out the RTE compliance as well. Because as I have discussed earlier, certain number of instructional hours are to be done in every academic year. So that is how we have come up with that after a lot of deliberation and discussion. And this is essentially we have notified for government and for others as well as indicative kind of timing. So now 2 exceptions to that for Shillong and Tura. For traffic, for staggered timing, it can be okay, but we need to have a consultation on that as well, so that in the next calendar we can improve all these things, and maybe we can issue separately for these places having traffic congestions. But more or less the idea is that the idea of giving these timings is that so that a uniformity and a standardization is there, again, when our staff go for inspections and all, and plus we comply with the instructional hours for especially for LP and UP. So that is the idea of giving these kind of schedules. Now a subsequent point in this, very important, is assembly, the morning assembly. Now morning assembly are a very good forum to do a lot of things actually, and it should be done entirely by the students. So I encourage all the schools to let students handle the morning assemblies and do different kind of activities. I mean, apart from basics, like somebody can come and read the news, so that way everyone is updated with the current affairs. Then somebody can make a extempore or like a prepared speech on some kind of a topic. Somebody can say thought of the day, somebody can do different kind of activities, etc., etc. So that way they will learn, first of all, a lot of things in terms of current affairs, in terms of GK, in terms of motivational quotes, proverbs, etc., etc. And if they come and speak to everyone, to all the students, I mean, they will get over their stage fright, they will improve their communication skills, it will be peer learning. So many good things can be done in morning assembly. Some kind of light PT can also be done. Physical training exercises can also be done. Little stretching before they go into the class where they have to sit all day. So all these things can be done. So this year, of course, we have just made a small mention of morning assemblies in the academic calendar. Next year, we will work it out and we will give a detailed guideline on how to conduct morning assemblies. If you have some ideas, please write in the comment section or send me as a direct message or email, so that we improve this part of the school calendar next year and we make it more detailed. But the bottom line is morning assemblies have great potential, so I request all the schools to use it to the maximum. So the next point in the school calendar is about the lesson plans and the teaching plans. Now, completing the syllabus essentially. So it is very important that every teacher have those plans. So because nothing works out if you don't have a plan, because you don't know how fast these academic year go. We roughly have something around 200 kind of school days in academic year, and then there are different, sometimes there are natural calamities, sometimes there are like different kind of disruptions are there. There's that due to certain programs, it comes down even than 200. So it's a challenge to complete the syllabus. So you have to have a plan that by the first month this will be done, by the second month this will be done, by the first quarter this will be done. So it's very, very important that you have that kind of a plan, and you can include other things as well. So maybe every school can have an academic meeting before the start of the academic year. So how are we going to plan this year? So that's very, very important. So I leave it up to the school, but maybe in the next decade the school calendar will give some more inputs in collaboration with DERT on how these lesson plans, teaching plans can be ensured. And if we can make a generic one which you can use just by downloading it from our website. So this is something which we will work on the next school calendar. So all these things. So since this is the first time we have done this kind of a thing. So next year I definitely want we are working on a more detailed school calendar. So I look forward to that, and for that we need more suggestions. So please send your comments, feedback, or leave it in the comment section of this video so that we can keep on improving. It's a process, and I'm sure like in the next 2-3 years we'll definitely keep on improving this school calendar, and we will make one of the best school calendars for among the states of our country. So I look forward to that, but for that we need your suggestions. Now the next point is on Bagless days. So dear friends, this has come from the National Education Policy 2020, and it says that certain number of days should be bagless days, where children do not have to carry their bag full of books. They just come without the bag, and that whole day should be about some kind of activity. So we are again, the lot of work is being done on coming up with detailed guidelines on bagless days, but for now we have done some indicative days, bagless days, and we have given some themes like kitchen gardening, like career counseling, etc., industrial visit, this, that. So please on this also, if you have any suggestions, please leave in a comment section. But the idea is that on certain number of days it should be free of the academic classes, regular classes, books, and they should learn something new. For example, I want to give you one of the points, bagless days theme, which is given is kitchen gardening. So now if you look at our schools which are serving midday meals, only about 10% of them have kitchen gardens, and I have made a separate video on that. I'll leave the link in the description. It's very important to have kitchen garden in school. They will learn to the whole practice of planting and gardening, kitchen gardening, and growing vegetables. They'll get close to nature, and plus they will know the importance of the vegetables and all, and plus the school gets extra vegetables for midday meals, etc. So it's very important. So we have kept that one bagless day on kitchen. So maybe we are deciding also that in the whole of Meghalaya we'll declare one day where we all celebrate this. We all the schools on that day will do kitchen gardening. So we will come up with that. So the idea of bagless days is to develop these other features as well, the co-curricular activities as well. So I hope this year you all will observe these kind of bagless days. Some of the schools have already, last year they told me that they have already started this very good practice. So it's very nice, and this year I hope all the schools will do it. And once you do it, then you will have a lot of feedback on these bagless days. So in the next school calendar, we will further improve these kind of bagless days, and I look forward to your suggestions on these as well. Now the last point mentioned in the school calendar is about the parent-teacher meetings. Now it's very important that you engage the parents in this system of education, because the children, they are there in the home for a longer duration, and if the parents are not taken into the loop and they are not told that what their children are doing in the school and what they are supposed to do in the home, so that process will remain incomplete. So that involvement of parents into the whole system is very important. I know it's very difficult to hold a lot of meetings, but at least once a year when the report card is given, immediately I think on the result day you can have those kind of PTMs, involve them more often, if possible once in a quarter, once or at least twice a year, so that they see what their children are doing, what they are learning, what their interests are, and then what to do at home is also very important, because in school they'll spend 6-7 hours, but the remaining time they're spending at home under the supervision of their parents or guardians. So it's very important to engage parents and guardians in the process of education. So I request all the schools to take this seriously and make special efforts to bring the parents on the loop as well. So now lastly, we invited some feedback on this calendar, and I'm happy that many principals have responded, and many have sent positive notes that they appreciate and welcome this step, and they have given some suggestions. Now, one of the important suggestions which has come through is that this academic calendar, the school calendar should be released before November for the next year, so that every school can plan accordingly and they can notify the parents and the children accordingly before they break for winter. So that's a very very good suggestion, and definitely this year in November we will release the school calendar for 2025. So that's already we have taken a note of. Now there are other suggestions as well, like morning and evening schools. They are finding it difficult to follow the school timings, so that we will also incorporate. That we will, as an exception case, the same exception we have given for Shillong and Tura, which are already having some kind of staggered timing to avoid traffic congestion. So all these things will incorporate in the school calendar 2025. So that's a welcome step. Some have expressed their inability to comply with the 220 days of UP school. Now, there is, as I said, it's non-negotiable. It's a RTE compliance we have to do. So you have to work out, and that is how we have worked out the calendar. So if you just follow the calendar, you will be complying with those 220 days for UP. So that is all the suggestions, and rest all were all positive feedback, that how they appreciate this move, and they are ready to go abide by it. So I look forward to further suggestions. This was the first kind of draft, you can say, and the next school calendar 2025 we want to make it more comprehensive, and we want to resolve all the standing issues, and based on the feedback which we have received and will receive on this video. So the last request is that share this video on school calendar with all the principals, teachers, parents, and even students. So let all the feedback come here. We will go through all the feedback and we'll refine it and we'll adopt it and we'll work for improving our school calendar in 2025. So this year I look forward to all the schools completing their syllabus, all the UP NLP schools complying the minimum school days and the instructional hours. And I hope that the Bagless days are also introduced in all the schools, and our children learn a lot of things other than the textbooks. So I look forward to a wonderful school year 2024. Thank you for watching. Kublai Shabun, Mithila.